Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, man. We got our Week 5 preview show brought to you by your boys Awthentik and The Beard and them boys at Manscaped. Y'all know what it is, man. We got a jam-packed show, man. No more matchups against each other in the NFC East, so we got to get right down to business. We got the Eagles taking on the Cardinals. A little bit of revenge game going on there between a few players. We'll get to that when we get to that game. The Cowboys are headed to L.A. to take on the Rams. The Titans are coming to FedEx Field to take on the Washington Commanders. And y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation headed over to London to take on those Green Bay Packers. They said it's at Packers, but I think it's a little bit of a neutral vibe here. And we know that the New York Giants, man, are 2-0 when they head over to the UK. So one time, man, for my homie, my brother, man, the strong side to my left side, the best co-host in the country on the best television show, not on TV. Fresh made me go change my shirt, bro. I saw his shirt. I said, hold tight, cuz I got to go out here and get fresh one time. But welcome, my brother, your brother, man. The Beard one time is in the building. How you living, brother?
Hey, listen, you know, it's been a wild week. I've been fighting off the Heineke hive everywhere I go.
Twitter has been very wild this week.
Yeah, Twitter has been very wild, so fighting off the Heineke hive. And then, you know, just trying to find. I tried to go to McDonald's to get the new grown-up Happy Meal to get the toy.
My girl got one just the other night.
Man, I went to McDonald's today and they ain't have no toys.
Hey, man, you know, it's Travis Scott promo. Them things running out quickly, man. You know,
man,
worth big bread.
Listen, if you buy it, you can, in the parking lot, you can eat your meal, take a picture of it, put it on eBay, sell it, pay for your meal. It's literally what everybody in reselling has been doing right now. So like,
my
it's
girl
been
was
crazy.
thinking about not opening the package to keep it, you know, in the package, and she was just like, "Forget this." I think she's gonna keep it though.
And then big shout out to Over the Years Sports. I finally got back into the lab and I dropped a video on the Albert Pujols autographed baseball bat that I have. So that is up. If you guys can find that YouTube channel in the description of this video, like all of our other places of business when it comes to Awthentik and The Beard. And, you know, just listen, it's a big game this weekend. And then, you know, we got the London game with the Giants in the morning. So it's a jam-packed. I mean, when you got the London game, I mean, we up early anyways because we rocking for the parlay. If you guys don't know, every Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Awthentik and The Beard do the parlay. But, I mean, it's a jam-packed day of football. 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to that night game at like 8 o'clock. You're talking about 14, 16 hours of straight football. So
can't wait, man. I told you about last week, bro. They had me out there with no red zone, man. That ain't the vibes, bro. I'm gonna definitely need my red zone back. I'm gonna be in the lab watching these games, man, and get to wake up early for that New York Giants game. That's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be a long day of football. I might go get me a 6-pack of beers or something. We'll see what happens. If not, I'm gonna have me a couple cups of coffee for sure.
But yeah, so big shout out to everybody who is watching us right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you guys haven't already. Help get this stream out to the YouTube universe. Without further ado, let's say some hellos to everybody in chat. First of all, big shout out to Awthentik. He was first in the chat today for those of you that didn't see it. So I know Sank and JMO were like a little shocked. They were like, "Oh my God, what? Awthentik was first today."
I got to it, man. You know, you got to be a fan. You got to be a fan of yourself. You got to be a fan of yourself.
Absolutely. So,
you know?
Big shout out to Coach Taylor. JMO is in the building. I know he is patiently waiting his matchup for the Atlanta Braves. And for those of you that don't know, baseball playoffs do start tomorrow, so I'll be tuned in to some of that. No Orioles, but, you know, hey, anybody but the Yankees is where I'm at for the baseball playoffs. Old man Rob dropping the bicep in the chat early. Appreciate you, old man Rob. Thank you for stopping by. Giants gang is in the building. Says, let's shock the world in London. I almost thought that said Landon since you guys have Landon Collins now.
Big shout out to Landon Collins and the reunion.
And let the league know this ain't the same old Giants. I definitely don't think you guys are the Judge Giants. So you guys are a new brand now. It's fun to watch. Big shout out to one of our resident Dallas Cowboys fans. Kai001 is in the building.
Loyal, man. Loyal. Kai be in the building.
Nixon?
I like that.
Nix 9? 9? I like Nixon, right?
Like 6 black, you know.
Shout out. Shout out in the building. We appreciate you joining us. Big shout out to Lucas checking us out from Australia. Says, let's hope the Packers all get food poisoning on their flight. Go Giants.
I'll take it.
This is the first time the Packers have played over international game.
I could have sworn they played a game somewhere else. Like that was surprising when I saw that too.
I didn't remember you guys playing an international game. I couldn't remember when that was.
Eli. Yeah.
Oh, it was Eli was in London. Big shout out to the homie. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets in the building. And Marcus is in the building as
Marcus,
well.
loyal to the soil one time. I was chopping up with Marcus and William Steele's chat the other day, man. They got a good vibe over there, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them, man. Cowboys A to Z Sports, I believe, is the name of the channel, man. It's just they remind me of us, like I always say. Got great vibes over there, man. And William Steele he definitely knows his ball, man. Was breaking down some tape last time we was in there, man. And the Cowboys, man. Cowboys on the up, bro. Cowboys are definitely on the up.
It's going to be an interesting week of NFC matchups. I'll let you guys know how I feel about Dallas in their matchup a little bit later in today's show. Big shout out to Stan Sakpasse.
Hey, Sakpasse, mon
in
cher.
the building. Word is in the building.
Hey, what up, Word?
Simon is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Clout House Entertainment.
Early, just pulled up. Wentz his ass, bro. He went to sleep with that on his mind, yo. You had to go to sleep with that on your mind, like Wentz his ass, bro.
Man, TC915 said, what's good, Authentic? Just stop by to drop a like. Good luck Sunday, DC for life.
Hey, I appreciate that, fam. Good looking, yo.
Gretz is in the building. Says, this is why Tim is good at his business and I'm not. I want to keep everything.
That's facts.
I got to give a big shout out to Chris Peace. Chris Peace has been, dropping links all over Twitter for everybody, all the different channels. So big shout out to Chris Peace holding things down. We definitely appreciate it. And I got to give another big shout out to Ref the District. Says, what's up, my boys? They had a dope stream last night. They were dropping some gems, a lot of points that I was getting ready to type in the chat, and they would just say them. So definitely big shout out to them. If you guys want to catch that episode last night, it's on their channel. So definitely go show them some love. So big shout out to everybody in the chat. We see you. Blue City Empire Sports is in the building as well. Oh, Formula Fitness. Great question. Y'all going to the Commanders versus Giants at FedEx? I might have to cross the Bay Bridge for that.
You should definitely do that. That's our annual game that we go to every year. Tailgate is definitely lit. I will see you in Green Lot E before the game.
40. E40.
It is E40, huh?
Sprinkle me.
Sprinkle me, man.
That might be a little old school for some of y'all.
Oh, yeah. I know Kai just said he's 27. I don't know if Kai know about that sprinkle me. Sprinkle me, man. E40. Talk like he got water in his mouth.
That's that Bay swag, man.
Big facts, man. Big facts. All right, so you ready to get into these matchups, man? Hey, at some point or another, I'm going to have to take off for about a good minute. I got to go meet somebody outside. The Beard's going to hold us down for a quick second. We're hoping it's going to be in the middle of his matchup and not in the middle of the New York Giants matchup. We'll see how late the homie's going to pull up at the crib. We'll see what's going on. But without further ado, man, let's get into this first matchup, man. We're going to talk about your Commanders as the first matchup here. Just trying to find that bingo transition one time. Here we go. All right, man. Those Titans headed over here to FedEx Field, man, to take on the Washington Commanders one time. Commanders now have lost 3 straight games, man. Tennessee is essentially 1 field goal away from being 3-1. You can't forget New York Giants kind of snuck out of there with that little victory one time, man. Washington is probably fortunate not to be 0-4. Got to keep it funky with you. Them Jaguars definitely gave you a good run for your money. Titans have won 2 in a row. Derrick Henry had his first 100-yard game just last week versus the Colts. Before I pass this off to you, and I just got a text from the homie, he's going to be late per usual. What's up, man? I swear like 70% of people just be late. I always try to emphasize to my engineers, do not be late, man. It is very important that you are on time, especially if you are a person of color. You do not want to fall into the stereotypes of being late, okay? So be on time here. Hopefully, the Washington Commanders are on time and they can command an early lead in this game, because that's definitely what it's going to take. I got a nice little nugget here about the Titans. The Titans are the second team since 2000 to score on the first possession of each of their first 4 games, and the first since the 2011 Patriots. This challenge comes after halftime. The challenge for them is definitely after halftime, where the Titans have been outscored. This is wild, bro. They've been outscored in the second half 64-7. That I might have to hang up the jersey, the memorabilia, everything I own if I'm a Titans fan, because that is not the vibe. Carson Wentz, speaking of Carson Wentz being ass, I forget who said that in the beginning there.
Cloudhouse Entertainment.
I think Carson Wentz is, he's trying, man. He's under a lot of pressure. We cannot forget that he's been sacked a league high 17 times, man. The pressure has definitely been cooking. And last week, I want to say he was only sacked a couple of times, but the pressure was in his face the whole game. He was trying to do some things to try to get rid of that ball early. I got to put a lot of that on your offensive coordinator, man, is that Scott Turner, I believe it is over there, not designing the correct kind of quick passing scheme that we've seen from Dallas in the last couple of games with their backup quarterback. But I wanted to start this before I toss this off to you with a little bit of a quote from Carson Wentz about the urgency with the Washington Commanders sitting at 1-3. He said, "Patience only lasts so long. You have to find a way to convert, stay on the field, score touchdowns, and score points, and win some ball games. There's no sense of panic or chaos around here. We are going into week 5. We know how we have played, and it wasn't up to our standards, but at the same time, we have a ton of confidence." That's what you want to see out of your quarterback. But for you, as I toss this off to you to give me a little bit of the roadmaps and a little bit of the nuggets, the one thing that I thought was very concerning about Washington is the support from the fan base. And Carson Wentz, a lot of people not talking about this. It reminds me of Derek Carr with the Las Vegas Raiders. When all that turmoil was happening with them last year, they had the car accident with the wide receiver who he just got picked up, I believe, by the Chiefs, right?
No. Henry Ruggs is in jail.
Is he still in jail? I thought I read something that said he about to be out. He's about to get back in football.
It might be one of their other players, because
now they also had the cornerback who had the gun situation on Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Derek Carr led them to the playoffs, man, throughout all that. Coach being fired, interim head coach, and he literally he showed the greatest amount of resilience I think I've ever seen from any quarterback in the past at least decade here. Now, with Wentz, this reminds me of Washington because we know everything that's going on with Daniel Snyder over there. Everybody's just begging for him to sell the team. And I saw this statistic about fan attendance, bro, which was very shocking. Washington went from number 1 to number 31 in stadium attendance, which is that's ridiculous. And that's why you see in games like against the Philadelphia Eagles where the whole stadium looks green and there's not a lot of people over there supporting the Commanders. But besides that, how do you think the Washington Commanders are going to go out here and try to win this game and get back in the race? Because we know this is a must-win game for y'all.
Okay, well, 2 things. Would you like some more salt to throw into my wound? That'd be fantastic. Thanks for all of that. Appreciate it. My nuggets already had enough salt. I didn't need an extra thing of salt. And then I unfortunately did not get the graphics department email for the matchup overlay, unfortunately, just so you know.
Oh, you didn't get that one. Okay, I got you.
All right. So I told everybody last week I was not going to be picking Washington anymore, because they just until they decide that they want to be a professional football team and organization. But I'm not saying I'm going to pick them today. You guys are going to have to wait till the end of this segment. But I will say, you got to score points and you got to stop the other team from scoring. I think that's about as basic as it gets. Washington is the absolute worst in the National Football League in point differential. We have a minus 34 point differential right now. Okay. So it's interesting that you broke down that second half point differential for the Tennessee Titans, and shout out to the graphics department.
Like I told you, Commanders, we need a nickname, bro. That's too many letters. I've been getting emails from the graphics department all week. Like, what do you want me to do? The name is bigger than the box.
And we're breaking out another new uniform. I feel like we're the Oregon Ducks right now.
Hey,
but
the Jones look fire. But
fire,
speaking of the Ducks, bro, there's a new series out right now, Disney Plus, Mighty Ducks. I watched the first episode last night.
Oh, it's been out for a while. It's been out for a while. Knuckle buck time, baby.
Season two.
Man, I got to get me a pair of those Gordon Bombay loafers, man. But
Facts.
you know, and shout out to Brian Robinson, who has been activated and is now eligible in the 21 practice day window. You know, a lot of people are just automatically assuming he's going to be out. I haven't heard any official word yet, but it is looking like he's going to play this weekend. I would imagine he's going to be on some sort of snap count. But to just think about the fact that, you know, 4 weeks into the season after getting shot twice, that he is back on the practice field and looks as good as he is an absolutely amazing story. And in a city of horrible stories, it is great to have that sort of storyline for the Washington Commanders right now. So big shout out to Brian Robinson.
I think a lot of people didn't talk about that enough. Like, could have lost his life, man.
Yeah.
You know, could have lost his life. It was a robbery attempt. We know how that goes here in the city, man. You see something like that damn near, like, I want to say daily, bro.
I mean, I get notifications on my Ring, you know, from the neighboring neighborhoods, and it's like that. So, like, I mean, big ups to him, and you know, just mentally, it's a lot of people don't realize, you know, the physicality part is something you can kind of overcome, and you're used to that uphill battle as an athlete. But mentally, getting shot, you know, in a situation like that, it's not easy to come back from. So, big shout out to him. And I really like how you mentioned that statistic about the Tennessee Titans and scoring on their first possession. Not only have they started out 0-2, not only have they scored on their first possession, right? In the last 2 games, 2 Titans wins, they scored on each of their first 3 possessions. So
yeah, it's crazy that they're sitting at 2-2. I mean, like I said, though, a field goal away from being 3-1. You know, maybe they're one of those teams. I talked about this with you last week that, like, there's a lot of teams in the middle, kind of the middle range of the NFL right now that you don't know if they're going to rise or if they're going to fall. And I talked about a lot of those teams like Minnesota Vikings. I think the New York Giants are even one of those teams. Like, yeah, I mean, we're a surprising 3-1 for sure, but it's like, are they going to fall off now that the schedule gets more difficult? You know, there's a bunch of teams that are very hard to gauge right now. I even think that Justin Herbert and the Chargers are one of those teams that, are they going to kind of fall? Are the Raiders going to kind of try to rise and try to get back in the mix? There's so many of these teams. The Bengals had a rough start. The Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
so
the
Bengals
got to play the Ravens this week. So, like, it's weird because it's like these teams are in these positions and it's like there's not like a break in the schedule where they're allowed to, like, get back into the swing of things. You know, like, it's just – every week is just, you just really don't know. I mean, the Rams, you know, they went and lost to San Francisco.
Just lost to the 49ers, yeah.
And then you got the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Colts and then turn around and just mollywop basically the Tampa Bay.
Colts are another team. Broncos,
so big game tonight, which we're going to talk about. But the Washington Commanders, we lose another offensive lineman, Cosme, hand surgery. So this is going to be, in week 5, the 5th starting offensive line combination of the season for the Washington Commanders.
Man.
So it's like you got a new quarterback and you got your 5th different offensive line starting combination. Like, it's super difficult, you know, like, and there's a lot of things going on there. And I think we're going to talk about Scott Turner a little bit here, because Scott Turner, that first game, that first drive, we're like,
man,
where did this come from? I mean,
I think everybody feels that way about the offense. We when we saw y'all first week, we were like, whoa, maybe Carson Wentz is a guy. Jahan Dotson is definitely a guy. Now, I know he's banged up, but he's definitely a guy. Curtis Samuel seems to be back and revived from the injury. People were hyping up y'all offense, and now you got these 3 straight games where you start to see some struggles and some woes, and people are kind of like, Carson Wentz is ass. You know, shout out to the homie Clubhouse one time in the building. But that's what, I get it.
Yeah, but that first drive, it was like pre-snap movements, you know, like all types of stuff going on. Now it's just like, we talked about this so much last year. And the biggest word that we used when describing Scott Turner and the Washington Commanders offense was predictable.
Yeah.
So 95% of the snaps taken from under center have been run plays. 95% of the snaps taken in shotgun have been passing plays.
It's crazy you bring that up. Did you see the segment with Dan Orlovsky and I believe it was Ryan Clark and Mina? I wanted to say Mila Kunis, but that's not. It's Mina.
Yeah, I know
you know what I'm talking about, right?
She used to be on Around the Horn a lot.
Exactly. So there was a segment that was going around, and it was I want to. Oh no, RG3 commented on it. He wasn't on the panel, but he commented on it. And what they were talking about was being under center and how much more that allows you to have a more of a unpredictable offense, right? Because you can do so many things from under center. You can play action, and Ryan Clark was talking about how when he played safety, right, how play action looked from the shotgun. When you played safety, you could be late because you can see everything in front of you. Whereas when you're coming doing play action from underneath the center, quarterback turns his back, so you don't really see the ball. And as a safety, you got to come up and step up for that. They also talked about when you're designing an offense in the NFL, and they gave Brian Dable kudos on this, about everything looking the same out of all packages so that you keep defenses at bay like that. Now, what you're telling me right here with the 95 rush underneath the center, 95 pass out of the shotgun is literally the opposite of what they were talking about. RG3 chimed in too, and he made a point that said, it's not necessarily about being underneath center or not, but it's about the offense looking the same, play in and play out. And playing, I played a little bit of wide receiver, and that's exactly what you wanted to do from the wide receiver position when you ran your routes. You wanted every route to look the same. You wanted fade to look like slant. You wanted them all to look like you're coming off the line the same way. And when you say that, man, 95%, you're passing it 95% of the time out of shotgun, that there's no other word to put on that but predictable.
Yeah, and so, could that number of in that last game versus the way that the offense looked in the first week, it's like night and day. And it's so I'm very confused as to why they just can't do what they did in the first week. I mean, did he just those were his tricks out of his bag and that was it? He just wanted us to show us that the first week?
This would be speculating, right? But I would think that it has to do with this, being in the game. You can't forget Detroit Lions blown out in the first half. Philadelphia Eagles blown out in the first half. Now you can't really try those things. And we know that was a little bit out of Scott Turner's, his normal play calling style. Week one, we were surprised. I posted one of his plays that didn't work out because of a missed block because I was so impressed by the scheme and the way he motioned the wide receiver in the backfield, turned it into a bit of a pistol-style offense. We literally have not seen nothing like that since.
No, we haven't. And but what we have seen every week? Tuto is in the building. Shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says massive salute to Awthentik and Tim, and for all diehard Giants fans in America, slap all stinky buds, losers out of the dough. Forget about it.
Tuto.
Salute Italy.
My man Tuto, man.
Shout out
Big
Tuto. We appreciate you, brother.
Definitely.
So I'm going to run through a couple of other interesting nuggets really fast before I give you my roadmap and my score prediction. So this could be a low-scoring game. Tennessee and Washington both average under 20 points per game. Tennessee is the 11th lowest scoring team. Washington is the 8th lowest scoring team, which is crazy to think about because we started out the floodgates, putting up some points. It looked like we was going to be one of the best offenses in the league.
Only
that
a
changed.
0.5 difference, too. 18.8 for Tennessee and 18.3 for Washington.
Yeah, and listen. One good thing is Tennessee is not necessarily passing the ball very well. No Burks in this game. He's out with turf toe. Robert Woods came on strong last week after I said he was a sit-em candidate in fantasy football. He had his first touchdown of the season. He has the longest play for the Tennessee Titans this year with a 41-yard catch last week. But Tennessee is 6th worst in passing offense as far as yards go in the National Football League right now. So we know we've been burnt quite often this season, particularly William Jackson and Kendall Fuller. So, now this is an opportunity to get right. We talk about this a lot of times. This is a get right, must win sort of situation for the Washington Commanders this week. So Tennessee, 6th fewest passing yards in the league. Now rushing, okay,
185 per game.
Yeah. So what's really interesting is Tennessee doesn't really have that many rushing yards. They only have 409 rushing yards this season. Washington.
Shout out to my New York Giants. We held that man Derrick Henry to just under 80.
Yeah, and Washington, though, 402 rushing yards. You would think that the number between the two teams rushing would be completely different and a lot larger of a gap there.
You would.
Tennessee's
what is it? A small sample or a large sample? What is it?
So it is a small sample of a large sample size.
I still don't get it, but it
Or
sounds
a large sample of a small sample size. Whatever floats your boat and finds the lost remote. But Tennessee's only averaging 3.8 yards per carry. So that's definitely something that, it with Derrick Henry, you got to be careful of the big plays. We talked about that when you guys played when they played the Giants, and we saw it a couple of times last week where Derrick Henry just got away and had a couple of big plays, because that's what it is. Derrick Henry will grind you, and then he's going to break one. Okay, so you definitely got to keep your eyes. Yeah, well, Saquon, though, I mean, he's averaging damn near 6 yards a carry this season.
He's getting the big runs too, though. That's the thing and Derrick Henry first 2 to 3 weeks wasn't getting the big runs. I mean,
no,
Derrick Henry was effective against the Giants. I'll keep them 80 yards. It's a little deceiving. He was effective. He just never broke the big run. They contained him, a lot of gang tackling. That's how you got to stop a running back like that, too.
And Tennessee, though, red zone. This is going to be very important because Washington's red zone defense has been particularly good this year, especially in comparison to years past. Washington has the 11th best red zone defense right now in the National Football League, allowing only 50% of red zone conversions. Where Tennessee, number 1 in red zone offense this year, converting 90% of their red zone opportunities, 9 of 10 in the red zone this year. So not a lot of opportunities. Once again, this is a large sample of a small sample size. Okay. They're 9 of 10 in the red zone, 90%, which is, I mean, obviously you would expect that when you have a guy like Derrick Henry on your team. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very important to stop them in the red zone. We got to take that number and attack it. Okay. Washington is 16th versus the run right now. We started off really bad those first couple weeks. The last couple weeks, Washington has performed exceptionally well against the run, especially against 2 really good run teams in Philadelphia and in Dallas.
Yeah.
So that is showing improvement. Okay, obviously we got to knock out the big plays, which have been killing us. Last week was the penalties. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. That's what the thing is with Washington. We talked about that a little bit on Tuesday. Tennessee, though. Now, this is where it's going to get a little interesting, where, okay, I don't want to hear any excuses for Washington. Shout out, Paulie. I see you in the chat, brother. The Washington football team has been struggling. You mentioned it. Carson Wentz sacked 17 times, most in the National Football League. Tennessee does not blitz a lot, okay? They are 24th in blitz percentage in the National Football League. They only blitz 21.4% of the time on dropbacks, okay? So if you can protect Wentz against the normal front and without that blitz, you shouldn't have any excuses. You should be able to get it done, okay?
Yeah.
So, we don't have to necessarily worry about Micah Parsons coming out of, every which gap on the football field, and they're dealing with a little bit of injuries, Tennessee is. And then Tennessee has actually allowed the fourth most passing yards in the National Football League so far this year.
I didn't know that was 4th most. 274.
4th most. In total.
274 yards per game is what I'm saying.
So total yards, total passing yards. They've allowed the 4th total most.
No, I understand you. I'm just saying that 4th most is 274 passing yards per game is what they're allowing.
Yeah. So the recipe is there for Washington to be able to succeed in the passing game as long as they can figure out a way to, game plan the blocking and the protection in general, and I'll be curious to see if Brian Robinson does play in this game, what his snap count is and how many, now are we going to see some new formations? Are we going to see some two back formations on the offensive side of the ball? That's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see some differential, formations, play calling, movement before the snap, those sort of things. Now, as far as the roadmap and keys to victory, Washington.
Before you move to that, I just want to say one little statement about Brian Robinson. Washington is very known for crowning running backs who have done nothing yet. Darius Geis was the exact same way.
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems like before they show you a little spark, and then everybody's on board thinking this guy's going to be, a premier back. Because the beginning of the year, they were talking about Brian Robinson being a starter and Antonio Gibson being on the bench returning punts.
Remember when I said this? What was that? That was like 3. It must have been after the first loss or the second loss when I had a little bit of a beard rant. And I was like, people keep talking about when Brian Robinson comes back. And I'm like, back? He was never here.
He was never here yet.
He's never played a snap in the National Football League.
He's got the potential to be a good running back for sure. What we saw in preseason looked really good. The kid runs tough. I mean, he runs tough as nails. But I just want to throw that out there. It just seems like around here,
no, perfect, great.
Just crowning these guys before they've actually ever done anything.
I think that is a absolutely super valid point and needs to be said a little bit louder for the people in the back. And listen, don't come. I saw somebody out here put a tweet up that was super interesting, and it's like, don't expect Brian Robinson to come out here and be like this, insane running back. He's a grinder. He's a bruiser. You know what I'm saying? His longest career run at Alabama was 37 or 39 yards.
Yeah.
So,
he was a tough runner over there too. I looked at his highlights from over there. He was running college kids over.
So I'm just hoping that I think it would be pointless for Washington to just go right into Brian Robinson and not utilize Antonio Gibson. I think the beauty of having Brian Robinson is the ability to use Antonio Gibson, if that makes any sense.
And not to regress the role of McKissick. McKissick has been doing his thing.
And especially now that we don't have Jahan Dotson for this game, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Robinson's on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Antonio Gibson running some plays out of the slot sort of situation. Right. We're going to need somebody to step up, whether it's Cam Sims or De'Ami Brown. Somebody's going to have to step up in the absence of Jahan Dotson. So keys to victory, the roadmap, the address, victory lane has been plugged into the Tim GPS system. Okay. Rushing yards, under 100 rushing yards total, not just Derrick Henry, total. Because one of the points that I think that I heard last night on Rep the District, which I thought was something that a lot of people forget about, is Ryan Tannehill can use his legs. Yeah. Okay, we've seen Ryan Tannehill run for touchdowns. We've seen Ryan Tannehill extend the play. That means that the D ends are going to have to be able to contain. Do not over pursue. Do not let Ryan Tannehill get 40 yards rushing in the game, and then you get Derrick Henry, get you 80 yards. Next thing you know, the team's over 120. We haven't even mentioned the other guys that are running the ball. So under 100 total yards for the Tennessee Titans. Early defensive stops. You got to make a stand early, especially when we talk about how they've scored on their first possession in X amount of consecutive games. They've scored on a touchdown, they've scored on their first 3 possessions in the last 2 games. In one game last week against the Colts, they scored on their first 4 possessions. So it's going to be super important for the momentum of this game to stop the Tennessee offense early. So you got to get some early defensive stands. And we talked about this last week, and they failed to do so. And it's important, and I think it's very important not only for the outcome of the game, but for the confidence of the offense. You got to score early. Quick start. You got to score on your first possession, no matter what it is. And I want to see more of the hurry-up offense. I want to see some just a little bit more urgency. And I hate to say urgency because it's not like we're in a 2-minute drill or something like that, but I kind of want to see that. I need to see a little bit more tempo. Like, it kind of just looks a little bit of lackadaisical at times. I want to see up-tempo, keep Tennessee on their feet, keep them on their toes, because that's how you kind of allow your offensive line a little bit more time in protection, is when you don't. And we talked about this with the predictability of the offense. When they don't necessarily know exactly what's coming at them, it allows, they're hesitant a little bit coming off of the ball, which gives you that extra second that you need, especially when you have backups on your offensive line, on your 5th combination of offensive linemen for this season. So super important to get those early offensive points. And then that moves into number 4. I need to see some more creative play calling. I need to see that first week, that first possession, that sort of play calling. I need to see pre-snap movement. I need to see Curtis Samuel doing Curtis Samuel things. Open up the door.
You know what I'm thinking about with the motion and the kind of technical aspect of pre-snap when it comes to offense. Maybe they can't handle it, because if you look at what the Giants did, we ditched all of it. As soon as Wan'Dale Robinson got hurt, and especially when Shepard got hurt, we ditched all of that pre-snap motion and just simplified things. And maybe it worked for us. And if it had worked for y'all, maybe people wouldn't be like, calling for more creative play calling, but obviously it's not working for y'all. We got 3 straight losses over there with the Commanders, so it's not working. And I definitely agree with you. You definitely got to find a way to get creative and put points on the board, most importantly, man.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. If something's not working, you can't keep doing it, okay? Yeah. Like, this isn't baseball where you have 162 games. This isn't basketball where you're 70 plus games. I forget exactly. I'm like close to 80 games, or hockey. You got 17 games and you're already four in. You got it. It's about adjustment. It's about play
Even
by
if they're little minor little tweaks that
little
you
tweaks.
make. You know, you got to study that tape, man. And with my coaching staff, I have so much confidence in them now about not only adjustments from week to week, and not only adjustments at the half, but now adjustments within the game, within the first, few quarters of the game. When you see something not working in the first quarter, well, let's move off that. We don't got to completely ditch it and put it to the back of the playbook, but let's move off that and see what's going to work against the team and understanding the matchup at hand. The reason why I picked my Giants to beat the Tennessee Titans week 1 was because you know what you got to do. Washington got to go out there and stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
If you stop Derrick Henry, your offense will give you a chance in this game. I think you guys are averaging 18.8 points or 18.3 points a game. So that might be enough to beat the Titans if you go out there and you stop Derrick Henry, don't let him get in the end zone, and don't let him get those big chunk plays like you was talking about.
Yeah, and then the adjustments is just like you said. It's like season long, game to game, half to half, quarter to quarter, possession to possession.
Facts.
Those sort of changes have to happen at all those different stages. And when we sit here and we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and we praise Nick Sirianni, week in and week out, what's one of those things that we talked about on Tuesday? His ability to change the game script at the drop of a dime.
Yeah, down 14-0 in that game. He definitely flipped the script on him, went right to the running game, utilized Miles Sanders heavy in that rushing attack, and the rest was history. They went and took the W out there, man. It made it look like they were a much better team than the Jacksonville Jaguars when you got to the end of the game. Had you just watched the first quarter, you'd have been like, wow, Jacksonville's really giving the Eagles a run for their money, and they look like the better team. Weather conditions, I thought that Devonta Smith clip was hilarious, too, going around the internet where he was just freezing the whole game, yo. Big coat, big hat. He's like, why my hat so loose? Why is it so loose? Like, definitely out there freezing, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Toot for the $4.99 super chat. Says Big Boss Awthentik.
That sounds like a rap name. Big Boss Awthentik.
Suit me up against Karen Rodgers, and I'll break him in 2 pieces as a birthday present for you, boss. He won't be smiling no mo after a first hit. Salute, Italy.
Yeah, I'm taking my notes. I'm going to holler at the email department. They're going to send an email to Giants.com because we got to get Tudo on the field one time. We could use a little bit of depth out there, man. We ain't been the best tackling team in the league, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. So big shout out to Tudo. We appreciate you as always, sir. And so the next thing is going to be winning the turnover battle. We talked about it last week, how we are not forcing turnovers at all, okay? And then we get 2 turnovers against Dallas. Both of them end up getting overturned because of penalties, okay? So you got to win the turnover battle. We are -6 in turnover ratio right now.
Yeah, that's
turnover differential is -6.
The 11 penalties last week. You got to clean that up. I hope they come into this game and clean that up because that's just undisciplined football.
It is, and you know what's crazy is so we had 11 penalties last week. That before that game, we only had 12 through the first 3 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So it's not like it's necessarily an ongoing problem, but that's why I talk about it since Tuesday. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Like, you got to put it all together.
Yeah, Jerry Jones writing a check to the Zebras, man. That's what happened. He was like, I don't like how y'all did me last week against the New York Giants. We snuck away with the victory. Y'all better not let that happen again.
Can't have it.
There you go.
Can't have it.
Penalties the following week.
And the final, most important of any roadmap to any road of victory, when the beard is talking, RTDB.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball. I'm going to need
how many carries we talking?
30 rushes minimal. Okay? 30 rushes minimal. I'm trying to compromise here with you, Washington. Mr. Scott Turner.
Ron Rivera. How the eyes went up like, it's a message for you, bro.
I'm trying to compromise. I asked for 40, you give me 20. So I'm going to ask for 30, and hopefully you give me 30. I need at least 30 rushes from the Washington Commanders this week. Listen, I know I wasn't supposed to pick the Washington Commanders. And when originally I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, Tennessee Titans are off for 2 wins. I can't pick Washington. There's no way Washington wins. But you know what? Then I started breaking it down a little bit. And I said, man, this Tennessee team is very similar to Washington. And I said, you know what? I said the season ain't over, okay? Taylor Heineke ain't coming in, okay? Ron Rivera's not getting fired, okay? So what are we going to do? We're going to win the damn game. That's what we're gonna do. This is it. This is it. The season is not on the line, but it is on the line.
You're trying to hype yourself up and pep talk yourself into a victory. I like it.
Hey, listen. This has to happen. Okay, we can't go 1-4. If we go 1-4,
I asked a question in the chat that I wanted to know too. Is Scott Turner related to Norv Turner?
That's his son.
That's his son, right? Yeah, thought so. Okay.
So they were saying, hey, Scott, we need you to call Pops up and get some more plays because what you're doing right now, it ain't working, Jack. Okay?
Could you imagine the conversations, man? He'd be having with Pops after
Hey,
L's.
Dad.
Sheesh.
Hey, Dad. Let me get one of
And
them plays.
you be stubborn to Pops too. Pops try to give you that good advice, telling you what to do. You gotta run the damn ball, Scott. And Scott's like, Dad, this isn't the same NFL. All right.
So I am, and listen, before I give you my score, I gotta holler at. Shout out to the man, Ronald Armstrong, diehard Washington Commanders fan. Okay, with a $9.99 super chat. Okay, with a $9.99, I can't give you a loss. I gotta give you a victory with the $9.99. Okay, Washington Commanders. I'm gonna go with shout out to Paulie. I'm going with his score. Actually. I'm going to reverse.
He shouted you out and everything, Paulie. And he was like, hold up.
I like Paulie's score of 27-24.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 24-20.
Yeah. I feel you. The 27 might be a little bit too high.
Yeah. 24-20 Washington.
We need to check how the picks is going, too, between me and you as well. But
yeah.
I can't go Commanders in this one, I don't think. And the one thing that made me want to go with the Commanders was when we picked the Raiders game on the parlay last week and we talked about the desperation sitting at 0-3, they ended up getting a victory, right?
Yeah.
This game is definitely a must-win for the Commanders. Now, I do think you're going to get maximum effort. But I think the Titans are also on a mission. The Titans kind of trying to show people that, hey, we're still that same team that was the number 1 seed in the AFC last year, even though we don't have A.J. Brown. I think they're going to come out here and try to give a high effort as well, too. I think it's going to be a super close game. I'm going to go 24-22 Titans.
22. Interesting score number there. Big shout out to the homie Vintage Sports Flips in the building. If you guys don't know, make sure you guys check out Vintage Sports Flips. We got something in the works.
I saw that was in the works. That's wild, man.
We're going to be making an announcement soon.
Vintage Sport Flips one time, yo. That's
Make
major.
sure you guys check him out. We got something in the works. Marjorie says 23-22 Washington. Duran Osman says he heard also on the radio about the predictability of the offense, saying it was 90%. The stats I was saying, he was saying it says 90% pass from the shotgun, 90% run from under the center. So that's definitely going around. More and more people are recognizing that. So big shout out to everybody in the chat too. We've been hitting the 70 number here today across all platforms. We appreciate you guys. Washington, Tennessee, win for the Beard, loss for Awthentik. We
shall see. I think the X factor for y'all taking the L is going to be Jahan Dotson too. Not being out there.
It's going to need somebody to step up. Is this the game where De'Ami Brown says, hey, I'm on Raw. This is where I am. We're going to see. We are
definitely going to see. Big shout out to the Beard, man, and the Roadmaps and the Nuggets. Still got to go out there and shoot that promo in the drive-thru one time. We got to get that in the mix, man. But let's talk about the real big dogs right now in the NFC East one time. Y'all know what it is, man. My New York Giants, man. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it.
Are on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
Now, I should have gave you a little background music for your Roadmaps and Nuggets. I don't know why I didn't do that. You was in your bag, so I didn't want to, ruin that for you.
The bass and the voice was all the bass that they needed.
Got that 808 tone. I liked it, man. Y'all know what it is, man. The Giants are headed over to London to take on those Packers one time. 3-1 New York Giants, man. Sunday's Giants-Packers game will be the first London matchup between two teams with a winning record. There's been nothing but bums going over there to play, so we finally got a good game right here between two good teams. The Giants are chasing 4 wins in their first 5 games for the first time since 2009. And this was what was real crazy about this little nugget to me. In 2009, we opened up the season at 5-0. We finished at 8-8. No, sir. That's not the vibes. We got to go out here to London and get this win. Big kudos to the homie Andrew Thomas, man, the best left tackle in the NFL. And not only the best left tackle in the NFL, the highest graded player in football this season right now per PFF. Andrew Thomas got a 92.1 grade on the season, man. So definitely been doing his part on that offensive line. And we've been seeing guys like Feliciano, Glowinski. I saw a play that Brian Dable was breaking down with Carl Banks on the New York Giants YouTube channel, man, where Glowinski and Feliciano, man, fantastic blocking up front for the run. They opened up a nice hole for Saquon Barkley to get, some good yardage and do some damage. But Giants got a question mark right now at the quarterback position. I saw a little bit of tape with my man Daniel Jones in practice the other day, and the boy looked healthy. I will say that. They showed him on a little boot throwing the ball. He ain't have no hobble, no wobble, no limp, no pimp walk,
no boot on the boot, right?
None of that.
Boot on the boot.
He had a little red pair of cleats that was a little bit higher than normal, holding that ankle in place. I don't think this is a high ankle sprain. Brian Dable's been a little bit quiet about exactly how the sprain is, high ankle, low ankle, and whatnot. We know the high ankle sprain can have you out for a little bit longer, but it don't look like it. I'm expecting Daniel Jones to play on Sunday morning against the Packers. Tyrod Taylor out with a concussion, so I might just be trying to talk myself into it because I'm not trying to see Davis Webb out there. New York Giants worked out Jake Fromm. I'm glad that didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Okay? We need Daniel Jones out there, and we definitely going to have to protect him. It starts up front. Andrew Thomas, man, been doing his thing, man. The Packers right now have the 5th-ranked defense in the NFL. Outside linebacker Rashawn Gary has 5 sacks on the season. Now, he's the first Packer to record a sack in each of his first 4 games since Cullen Jenkins did it in 2010. If Gary gets a sack on Sunday, he would tie the Packers' franchise record for consecutive games with a sack. I'm not too worried, though. You might wonder why. Why is he not too worried? Well, I don't think the Giants are going to pass the ball that much in this game. I'll keep it funky with you, okay? Packers' rush defense is ranked 22nd in the NFL. Their pass defense is ranked 3rd. So what does that tell me? That tells me we got to run the ball. RTDB. Shout out to the graphics department one time. Y'all know what it is. Now, I want to establish the run early in this game. And I'm going to try to fly through this. We got a couple more games to run through. Sunday or Thursday night football popping up at 8:15. No shout outs to Amazon Prime. Y'all got to change that time. Now, got to get that run clicking early. And there's big reasons why we can get that run clicking early, man. The Giants lead the league right now with 770 rushing yards on the season, the number 1 rushing attack in the entire NFL. Saquon Barkley is the only player in NFL with 3 games of 125 or more scrimmage yards. I could go on and on about Saquon Barkley, man. Saquon Barkley leads the league in rushing right now with 463 yards, 5.5 yards per carry. That's a boost of almost 2 yards from last year's 3.7 per carry, where we was looking like, is this even the same guy? What's going on with Saquon Barkley? Now, Barkley is 130 yards away from his total from last season. He had 593 yards last year. My man's already 130 yards away from eclipsing the mark that he had last season. Him and what's my man, Devontae Booker, they both had the exact same amount of yards. That's very interesting and very ironic. I don't know how that happened. And Barkley leads the NFL right now with yards from scrimmage with 570. Now, let me break down why I think this New York Giants rushing attack is going to be able to be successful against the Green Bay Packers. Now, week 1 against the Titans, the Giants ran for 238 yards. Week 2 against the Panthers, a little bit of a lull, 103 yards in that game, but we stayed pot committed. Against the Cowboys, put up 167 on the ground, and against the Bears last week, 262 rushing yards, okay? Saquon Barkley, week 1, he had 164 yards. In week 2, he had 72. That's that lull game I told you about. 81 in week 3, 146 last week. Now, the Packers defense versus the run, they allowed 126 to the Vikings, 180 to the Bears, 34 to the Buccaneers. That's a little bit of and then a little bit of a. And then week 4 against the Patriots, 167 yards, and they allowed a touchdown. Dalvin Cook had 90, David Montgomery had 122, and Damian Harris had 86. Now, right now, the Giants have the 2nd most rushing first downs by a quarterback through 4 games. Daniel Jones is out here using his legs.
He's playing winning football.
He's definitely playing winning football. And it looks like I got to step outside for a quick second. In the middle of getting into my bag, I got to step outside for a second. So this is what I want you to do, Beard. Show them the card that's up for trivia, and I'll be right back.
You got it. So big shout out to, I also have to give a big shout out to Tuto for the $9.99 super chat. We appreciate you as always, sir. says, we're all about 500 Italian diehard Giants here in London, and we're expecting 1,500. I feel like this is like the Sparta movie. You know, like that's when I think of Tudo, I think of Sparta. By Saturday, and great news, we'll have Ellis Gange as our guest on Sunday. Massive figures in English rugby world supporting the Giants. Shout out to Tuto. We appreciate you, sir. And also big shout out to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets for the $9.99 super chat. I mean, if we're all dropping 9.99s, appreciate you. No Mets, No Nets, No Jets, as always. So for those of you that don't know, we are doing trivia tonight. So there will be a question. And if you are a New York Giants fan, you will win a Michael Strahan, beautiful Michael Strahan card to the winner. If you're a Giants fan, if you're a Washington Commanders fan, you have an opportunity at winning a Logan Thomas autographed rookie card. And if you're a Philadelphia or Cowboys fan, we also have prizes for you guys as well. And these prizes are sponsored by Over the Years Sports. If you guys aren't familiar with Over the Years Sports, make sure you guys go into the description of this video, click on that link, and subscribe to Over the Years Sports. We're going to give you guys a quick commercial break while we wait for Awthentik to return. This is the official Over the Years Sports intro, shot, produced, and edited by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Awthentik. Enjoy.
The bases are loaded. 2 men are out. It's the tying run at the plate. Paul Blair is there. He's flying to center, struck out and popped it short. Nolan Ryan is to the pitch. Can I kick it off?
Herbert to throw on third and goal. Tips it in the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Chargers strike. Touchdown. Dante Hall. 92 yards.
That one, a towering fly ball to left field. It is deep. It is back.
He's not going to make it. It's 7, 8, 9, and 10. He knocks them out. In the...
Shout out to Awthentik for the production of Over the Years Sports. We actually just dropped a brand new video with the Albert Pujols autographed baseball bat. So that is the sponsor for this week's Michael Strahan card. So shout out. Trivia will be up momentarily right after we wrap up this Giants-Packers preview. And the man appears to be back in the building. Mr.
This fool,
Awthentik.
man. Bruh, my man made me run across the street and everything, man. What's going on, dog? What's going Whew. All right, we're going to try to get settled back in. That's the first time that's ever had to happen. Appreciate you holding it down while I was gone, man.
Of course. And one thing about this Packers defense, you know, they've allowed a lot of rushing yards. There's one thing, though, that stood out to me, which I think is going to be important for the Giants, especially because they have been having some, you know, not say trouble, but they haven't been able to punch the ball in the end zone as much as they definitely want to. Green Bay's only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns all year long. Only 2 rushing touchdowns all year long.
I think that's going to change come Sunday. I think that's a change going to come, as Sam Cook would say one time. Yeah, man. But what I was saying, too, about Daniel Jones, the only quarterback who has had more rushing first downs to this point in a season is Michael Vick. The other one's Cam Newton. I saw somebody say this on Twitter, and I thought it was kind of crazy, but I want to know your opinion on this. They were calling Daniel Jones Tim Tebow.
I saw that, too.
I think that's kind of blasphemous, bro.
It is. And listen, I'm a big Tim Tebow guy. I think Tim Tebow got shafted for no reason. He's one of those guys in the NFL that kind of just got pushed to the side. I mean, he literally took his team to the playoffs and beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh when that was like unheard of in the playoffs. So shout out to Tim Tebow. No, I think Daniel Jones is a more polished quarterback than Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
but I can understand the comparisons, but I think that's more of a stat line comparison more so than a actual quarterback comparison. And I think that's a reach. Definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was a reach too. And just by design, how Tim Tebow's yards on the ground came, it was more like ground and pound bruiser style type of running. And Daniel Jones is more of like a deception style type of running. You know, it's about having your running back see success first and at times having the passing game clicking and then utilizing that to kind of play off that and get your running going. So I do think it's very different. Durant says DJ is Josh Allen without the arm talent. I think I would put Josh Allen like a Tim Tebow that can like really throw. Because when Josh Allen get to running, he'd be lowering that shoulder. He'd be running people over. Yeah. But I thought that was very surprising, man, because Daniel Jones, with the first downs, he's in the category of guys that were known to run the rock at the quarterback position with Mike Vick and Cam Newton. Mike Vick had 20 through 4 games in 2006. Cam Newton had 17 through 4 games in 2015. Daniel Jones has 18 right now. And for me, a lot of that's coming from the scheme, bro. Like, the way that Brian Dable is scheming up this offense, when Daniel Jones goes to run, he's wide open. It's not like he's having to deal with or be under a lot of duress while he's running and make moves. It's just a quick boot, or it's an RPO where he tucks and hides the ball. And big shout out to Daniel Jones for this too. He's doing a great job of like hiding the football. His play action fakes are very tight. It's very hard to see where he's actually going with the ball. So I think he's doing a good job of running this offense. He's doing what he's asked to be done, and you can't ask for more from a fan perspective. Like, me, man, I want to see the big games too, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, things like that. I think it'll help Daniel Jones at the end of the day as far as staying to be a New York Giant. But at the same time, if Brian Dable's calling these game plans with Mike Kafka and they go, hey, this kid's running the game plans great, and then you could get some wide receiver weaponry in that department, maybe Daniel Jones has a good shot of not putting up these huge passing numbers and just doing what he has to do on the ground game and just taking care of the ball, game managing, and putting New York Giants in position to score touchdowns. Maybe we'll see him next year. We'll see, man. But this offense right now, man, rushing has definitely been the thing for the New York Giants right now. League-leading average of 192.5 rushing yards per game is nearly double the average of total last season. Last season, we averaged 99 yards on the ground. So to almost double that up, it's extremely just, I can't be more grateful as a New York Giants fan. Now, I do think that there might be a time in this game where if the Packers are hanging tight with us, because I do think they have an edge on the offensive side of the ball, right? And if they're hanging tight and this game starts to get a little bit closer, the Giants end up getting down by, a touchdown or maybe a 2-score game or something like that, and the Giants are going to have to pass, I think it's important that we have Richie James out there. To me, Richie James is emerging into being a guy that, like, if he's not going to be with the New York Giants next year, somebody going to scoop him up because he definitely can make plays. I think some of the consistency is an issue with him because he's not used to being out on the field that much.
For that many plays.
Yeah, and now he's our leading wide receiver right now. He's got 15 receptions on the year, 155 yards. And this the little asterisk nugget that I liked when I was looking up some of his stats. His biggest game came against Green Bay in 2020 on November 5th. 9 catches for 184 yards and a touchdown. So I'm praying for a repeat performance if indeed we do have to pass the ball. But I do think that the Giants are going to rely on the running game for the most part. And also we got to stop the Packers rushing attack, man. We know they can run the rock too, man. They got 2 running backs over there, and A.J. Dillon and what's my man, Aaron Jones. 7th
in the league in rushing.
See, and I always, I think it's like it looks good when you have a bell cow running back, right? And it's great when you got a guy like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, whatever, doing all the damage. But it might be more effective to have 2 running backs. We saw the Cleveland Browns move to that a couple of years ago when they brought in Kareem Hunt, and that's worked out really well. The Packers kind of tried to copy that formula, I feel like, and they've done a good job, doing that. And I was talking with somebody on Twitter about this. I told you about this off-air, Beard. About having depth within the defense so that when one player goes down, you got somebody that can step in there and fill in. And I think that is a lot of the reason why the Giants went out there and they got Landon Collins, to come in here, because Julian Love's dealing with the concussion. You got hella injuries up front. Ojulari's back on the injury report. Leonard Williams out there injured. And we got to find a way to stop the run. Right now, the Giants are 28th against the run, which that's not a good vibe, man. That's not New York Giant football. And Aaron Jones, he's going to be a tall task to stop. In week 4, he had 16 carries for 110 yards, averaging 6.9 yards per carry. So we got to find a way to slow him down in this game. Jones right now, he's the first Packer to have 2 100-yard rushing performances within the first 4 games of a season since Amon Green. So,
I was going to say Eddie Lacy, but Amon Green, yeah.
Big boy Eddie Lacy, yeah, he slept on. But that was in 2004. And as a total defense right now, we're allowing 5.1 yards per carry. So if the Giants have a place where they could really step up, it's stopping the run. Wink Martindale has done wonders with what he's doing with the blitz. The Giants right now are blitzing on 40% of their snaps, of their defensive snaps. and I think we're doing a decent job of getting after the quarterback. But where we're missing, I think, is stopping the run and also getting a big turnover. We got to find a way to get the big turnover in this game, I think, if we're going to be able to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. It's going to start with getting pressure up front, too. Now, Dexter Lawrence, man, I'd say even myself as of last year, I was thinking like, he's just another guy. They call him, a jag. Just another guy is what I was thinking. This dude has definitely stepped up. And in the absence of Leonard Williams last week, man, he definitely balled out, man. He's one of 3 defensive linemen right now with 3 games of 5+ tackles. Last week had 8 quarterback pressures, bro. That's like some Aaron Donald type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you playing interior defensive line and finding a way to get that kind of pressure on the quarterback. He also had 2 sacks in the game and a quarterback hit. He's ranked 5th highest right now in pass rush win rate as a defensive tackle. So, and I, the celebrations, bro, like the way that he's dancing after he's getting these sacks, like pause. But
it's important to get that pressure too, because it doesn't, when you get that pressure in the middle, it's different than the pressure on the edges because you're taking away the space and opportunity for the quarterback to step up in the pocket and make the throw. So it's
Definitely
super important to have that sort of pressure.
Yeah. And then if you can get some pressure from the edge, when you have pressure up the middle like that, all you're going to do is force quarterback to step up and take a hit, man. Shout out to the homie, too, one time, man. Nick the Wick.
Nick the Wick in the building for the $4.99. Super Chat says, what's up, guys? Authentic, I have been busy with football this week. If you guys don't know, Nick the Wick is an amazing offensive lineman. So
Facts.
big shout out to Nick the Wick. Been busy with football this week. Going to send the towel out this weekend. Also, Gettleman's picks starting to shine.
A little bit. Don't say that too loud.
Don't say it too loud. And also wanted to give a big shout out. I see you, Tesla Picker, in the building talking about them Cowboys already early.
Oh, shout out Tesla Picker. Yeah, and Nick the Wick got a towel from the game last week's game and whatnot. He was going to send me one of those things out, man. So I definitely appreciate that. Still got the Odell Beckham jersey right back there with all the rest of the memorabilia, man. We appreciate you, Nick the Wick. I know you was dealing with an injury entering the season, man. I hope all's going well with the rehab and hope you're getting right back out there on the field. I know this is a big year for you, man. So best of luck with all your football endeavors, my G.
Facts.
So let me see where we at. Yeah, got to get the pressure, man. And I think Dexter Lawrence, he gonna get there. He's definitely. They had him mic'd up last week, bro. He's just having fun out there, bro. He reminded me of Fats. Like he was just out there just having fun, dancing, singing, getting to the quarterback, talking smack. That's my kind of football, man. I definitely like that, man. And hopefully that leads to a turnover right now because the Giants, man, we still don't have no interceptions on the year. We're the last team left with no interceptions from our defense. So we got to get that done. But I do think that the Packers have been a little bit more susceptible to the, to the turnover this year because so I looked up a stat about LaFleur and in his first 3 seasons as the coach for the Packers, he's either had the fewest amount of turnovers from his offense or the second fewest in all 3 of those seasons. And now they've already turned the ball over 7 times in 4 games this year. So I do think they, I know it's going to be a point of emphasis for them to clean it up as well. Aaron Rodgers even talked about it in his presser after the game about they're not going to be able to continue to win games like that. They got to up their level of play for sure. So I'd look for them to kind of be a little bit more weary about that, try to protect the ball. And the other thing that worries me in this game, too, is the injuries for the New York Giants, man. We know Galladay got hurt last week on a running play where he was blocking downfield. It should have been a holding on the defense that they didn't call because the defender pulled him down to the ground by like the top of his jersey and his shoulder pads, ended up kind of like throwing him into like a tumble. And when he tumbled over and like rolled over, Roquan Smith was trying to get over him to make the tackle and ended up just like collapsing all of his weight on his knee. Looked really bad live, man. They're saying it's something like an MCL sprain or something like that. Hoping he can get back on that field because I do think that even though Kenny Galladay has not been super effective in our passing game, I do think he does give us an advantage as far as a wide receiver who can block a bigger body and whatnot. Kadarius Toney, I mean, we about to just stop talking about Kadarius Toney. The dude's been on the injury report all year. He's been sitting on my bench on my fantasy team all year, and I just, my pride won't allow me to cut him, but it's just like, we got to get you out on that field to start making some plays. Wan'Dale Robinson's on the injury report. Julian Love dealing with the concussion. And we talked about Azeez Ojulari, and we talked about Leonard Williams as well, and we know Tyrod Taylor's in the concussion protocol. So, with all that said, man, try to keep that as tight as I could, and I ran outside real quick, man. My 40 time's still probably popping. I think I'm about a good 4.6. I'm gonna say a 4.6 40.
I'm a 4.6 440.
I don't know that, but I think, man, if the Giants are gonna win this game in London, they got to win ugly. You know, I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. This got to be a ground and pound type of game. There's been some field issues out there when they have games in London, you know, on the pitch, you know, them ripping up the field and whatnot.
Hey, look at Awthentik, man.
Right? You
That's
know,
for playing FIFA on Xbox.
Yeah, a little bit of FIFA, you know, I know about the pitch, you know. But I think that you got to win this one ugly. And, you know, when I talked about Daniel Jones last week and, you know, the 71 passing yards was like, yeah, that on the surface, that looks really bad. But he only was asked to throw the ball 13 times. He completed 8 of them, and he got the win. That's what's most important. And it took me back to the game where Eli played at Wembley Stadium in 2007, and we beat the Dolphins 13-10 in that game. Take a guess how many passing yards Eli Manning had. This should have been
87.
59. He was 8 of 22 for 59 yards, okay? We won the Super Bowl that year. So, you know, I'm hoping that somehow we get this win. Beard, if we get this win on Sunday, I'm Monday, I'm going to be extremely lit, and I'm going to start calling the Giants going to make the playoffs.
So does that mean you're before I get to that, let's get to Nick DeWick. Shout out Nick DeWick for the $4.99 super chat. Says all's going well. Haven't gotten any looks yet though. My film is much better than last year. 10+ yards downfield, bullying my opponents.
Yeah.
One day at a time, Nick DeWick. One day at a time. It's a grind, my man. It's a grind. You're gonna get
Big
there.
Facts. And I think Nick's a junior now. I'm pretty sure Nick is a junior now, man. Yeah, keep grinding, man. Keep working. Somebody gonna pick you up. Watch. Keep grinding. Just keep working, man. Keep your head down. Stay focused. Don't waste no days, my guy. Don't waste no days. Especially at the age you at right now. Don't waste no days. I know that's very difficult when you're young to try to like have that kind of discipline, but you're gonna need that discipline, man. Don't waste no days. Keep grinding. Keep hitting that weight room. Keep doing what you do, bro. I see nothing but a bright future for my man Nick DeWick.
Facts. So does that mean you're picking the Giants to win this game?
Yeah, I got Nick DeWick in the chat. I got to pick the Giants to win, man. Come on, dog. I saw this thing, man, where the NFL.com, you know, they do their little preview for each game every week. I looked at their preview, man. Everybody picked the Packers. Jeremiah, 24-17. Rank, 28-20, 34-20. From Colleen Wolfe. You got MJD, who picked it 23-6, 19-13, 31-21. All close games for the most part here. Most of them being about a 10-point game or under. I'm picking the Giants, man. I'm picking them in an ugly one. I think this one's going to be – just got to think about the limit of Aaron Rodgers and what that offense could put up. He's going to get 2. He's going to get 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to say 23-20 New York Giants.
Listen, I want to pick the Giants. I really do. And I think that if the Giants beat the Packers, I personally wouldn't be that surprised. And I think that's because of how much Giants, you know, football I digest as a non-Giants football fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand the significance of having a run game, and I am super jealous of Saquon Barkley, and which is all. I've always been a big Saquon Barkley fan. I think it's great for football when Saquon is healthy and playing the way that he is in general. This game's going to be one in the trenches. You're going to have 2 good running teams, 2 not so good run defenses. So I think it's going to be whoever can stop the run more wins this game. I think the Packers do edge out the Giants by a final score of 20-17. And
you got a close one too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I really do, especially after watching that Green Bay New England game. But the inconsistencies in Green Bay give me a little bit of worry, which is why I think the Giants have a particularly good chance at definitely competing, but even winning this game. Big shout out to Chris for the $5 super chat. Says, can we make a case for Alex Bachman to get a shot on the Giants? Knows the playbook, had good chemistry with Daniel Jones, and he makes great catches. I mean, you made the case.
You definitely made the case. I saw people talking about this on a Twitter space earlier, either today or yesterday. And the title of the whole Twitter space was something like, can we stop it with the Alex Bachman talk? And the reason why they were saying that was because, okay, he's a journeyman practice squad type of player, really has never really made the roster. And also when they tried to put Alex Bachman back on the practice squad this year after he didn't make the 53-man roster, he declined and went to try to go to another team or something like that. For me, I think with the way that the wide receiver core has been extremely banged up with the injuries, I wouldn't mind bringing in Alex Bachman. He had that preseason game where he shined, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was straight balling out. And I know it's against lesser competition and whatnot, But you're right. He knows the playbook. He's got sure hands for the most part. He's not the fastest, quickest wide receiver, but like I said on a previous show, he kind of reminds me of a Danny Amendola kind of Wes Welker. Maybe not as twitchy and as quick as a Wes Welker, but he gives me that kind of a vibe. Could be because he's white, too. I'm just kind of lumping him in with a bunch of white wide receivers, which is terrible on my part. But
I was the only one of those that broke the mold. I wasn't one of those twitchy guys, you know.
Oh, yeah,
guys.
You was like a Jason Witten kind of like, how's he getting open?
A little faster than Jason Witten, a little bit more agility and catch radius, but I get what you're saying.
Catch radius. I'll give you catch radius, though. You do have a pretty good catch radius. But, yeah, I mean, I think you could bring back Bachman, man. It wouldn't hurt to bring him back, man. The way that, you know, we're just banged up. Not a lot of depth out there, man. You could bring him in.
And big shout out to Nick DeWick for the $9.99 super chat. Says, gimme the Giants.
Yes,
Listen,
sir. Yes,
if you guys want Giants,
we want the Giants, bro.
it's coming up next. It's coming up next, ladies and gentlemen.
It's coming up next, man. Yeah, and we about to get the kickoff. So we are going to do a rapid pace pick 'em for the next 3 games, kind of like our parlay style. And for those of y'all that don't know, you can pull up to the parlay. We do fantasy and betting on that show Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. And we're going to keep the schedule pretty much the same this week. We'll probably tap in a little early during that Giants game because the Giants are 9 o'clock. Maybe we give y'all a little halftime vibe or something. We'll see what's good. But then we'll be covering the rest of that game, watching the rest of that game, and doing the parlay show starting at 11. So definitely pull up. And, yeah, let's
That's
get this
going to be a
Manscaped.
really lit show.
Yeah, that's going to be a lit show. It's going to be a great day, man. Sunday's going to be awesome. Like, win or lose, man, I'm going to have a great time because, like, football all day like that, and then I'm going to get to watch Red Zone for the rest of the day and focus on the rest of the NFC East. It should be a great time. All right, let's get this Manscaped read out the way one time, and then we will go and give somebody that lucky card, man, that Michael Strahan that the Beard was showing y'all. And I saw Kai gave me some props on the cinematography on the intro for the Beard, man. I definitely appreciate that. I didn't know you were a fellow cinematographer, man. You got to link up with me, man. Shout me on Twitter one time. I want to see some of your work. But support for Awthentik and The Beard, the best division in football, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Bars.
Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AATB at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code AATB as an Awthentik and The Beard at manscaped.com. Get your 20% off and your free shipping worldwide, man. And unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right.
Shout out to Bluegrass Picker for the additional Manscaped line right there.
Shout out Bluegrass one time. All right. So today's trivia is actually a little bit easier. And just to keep things flowing, we're just going to keep the music vibe lit one time. Y'all should be able to get this one fairly fast, okay? Last week, we didn't have a lucky Giants winner, but we did have a lucky winner. Who was it that won last week?
OBX Picker won a Jalen Waddle card
last week. Oh, yeah, the Jalen Waddle card. So salute the OBX Picker one time. Today's trivia, get your Google fingers ready one time. We about to pull this one up on the screen in about a good 10 seconds. You got about a good 10 seconds to get your wits together, glass of water, whatever you need to do, you know, to get your mind right for this trivia, man. No lifelines, no none of that. First guess, this is what it's going to be. All right? So I'm seeing that Raiders helmet from the over the years commercial. Fire. Yo, fire. Thank you for the Daniel Jones helmet too, The Beard. I definitely appreciate that, man. Signed and delivered. All right. So, trivia-wise, here we go. I'm making sure I don't show the answer first because that would be crazy. I'm doing a new thing here. I had to email the graphics department. I said, yo, we need answers too, bro. I just can't keep saying the answers, okay? Today's trivia is, what year did Michael Strahan get inducted into the Pro Hall of Fame? What year did Michael Strahan get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Bluegrass Picker, thank you for the love on the beat one time. First one that we see on our side of the chat is going to be the winner of a beautiful Michael Strahan card. We will let you know when we see that answer immediately. Take your time, rock out to some Awthentik. And it looks like we got a winner chicken dinner. Ooh, runner-up, Max Webster is the runner-up, okay? Max Webster's been very close. repeat vibes, man. He already won the beautiful Tiki Barber. I mean, it would have been nice to pair this with a Michael Strahan. You got to get them Google fingers, or you got to holler at Verizon and get a little bit of faster internet so you get those answers submitted. But today's winner is going to be Mr. Simon Coleman. 2014. Michael Strahan was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on April 10th, 2014. Big salute to the homie Simon Coleman. We got to confirm over there, Beard. You concur that was first on your board?
I see somebody else.
Oh, man. Do you see somebody else?
I do.
Let me see who we got. Oh, we got two winners then. We got to get a consolation prize for Simon Coleman.
I got a consolation prize for Simon Coleman.
All right, so we got the consolation because I see the one that you see. On mine's it's after, but I see the one that you see. Yeah. This what you see?
Yes. So we're going to do two winners, okay? Simon Coleman, I'm going to send you a card as well. So reach out to me on Twitter. You will win. And then Brett will get the Michael Strahan gold medallion.
You face in the building too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I see Brett leaned up against the whip right there looking real fresh. I see you, Brett. Big salute on the victory, man. And hey, we got two winners, man. I guess we got two winners. We
love it here at Awthentik and The Beard. So make sure you guys send me your shipping addresses. Nah, Simon, we're gonna send you something, brother. This is what we do here at Awthentik and The Beard. So you guys
and big shout out to Over the Years Sports, man, because Over the Years Sports definitely holding us down with the inventory one time. You know what it is.
Yeah, so both you guys reach out to us on Twitter, and I will send you guys some awesome.
If you're not on
New
Twitter,
York
you can hit us up either on the email that's linked to the channel, or you can hit us up at authentic@allornothinstudios.com too. If you're not on Twitter, I know a lot of folks don't want to deal with that madness over there on Twitter one time. You know what it is.
It is Tim Walk on Water 2 is my it's a little small, but you can see it right there. Tim Walk on Water 2 on Twitter, Simon.
Yeah, definitely check us out, man. Send your information to the Beard. If you can't find a beard, you can send information to me. I'll relay the message, man. Big shout out to the winners one time. Y'all know what it is. Giants Nation is in the building, man. All right, so we got this quick little rapid fire. Kickoff just started about 3 minutes ago, man. Don't nobody tell me who scored and whatnot in the Thursday night game when we get to the Thursday night game. I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible on these three matchups right here, man. Apologies to the Cowboys fans out there, man, you know, who was looking for in-depth analysis today. We're not giving you no in-depth analysis, all right? Hope you get your ass kicked on Sunday, to be honest, okay? Let's start with that one first, though, man. Let's start with the Cowboys game one time. Shout out to the graphics department. Looking fresh one time in here in the building one time. Man, so the Cowboys, man, for me, I'll keep it funky with you. The Cowboys coming to this game at 3-1, man. That's more surprising to me than the New York Giants being 3-1. It's really ridiculous. The Los Angeles Rams coming to this one at 2-2. This game is Sunday at 4:25 on Fox, man. Last week, the Cowboys took care of the Beard's Commanders 25-10, and the Rams ended up losing last week to the 49ers, man, who have had their number, man, for a while there. They ended up losing that game. What was that one? 24-9, man. To me, key matchup in this game and a player to watch for real is going to be Allen Robinson, man. He's been struggling over there with the Rams. I want to say it's just 9 receptions on the year for 95 yards. So I know they're looking to get him involved in that offense, kind of replaced Odell Beckham with him. Was looking for that same kind of productivity. Not really seeing that, man. Got to talk about Cooper Rush here, man. With the victory, Cooper Rush will be the 5th undrafted quarterback to win his first 5 career starts, joining some crazy names, bro. These names surprised the hell out of me. One name in particular. We'll start off with the obvious ones. Kurt Warner was one of them. Mike Tomczak, Dieter Brock, who I'm not familiar with Dieter Brock, and Kyle Allen. Kind of crazy. Kyle Allen won his first 5 starts, man. I thought that was super interesting, man. Dallas is definitely going to have to find a way to get Ezekiel Elliott 20 carries. That is the number. Dallas Cowboys are 30-10 when Ezekiel Elliott gets 20 carries, but he has not had 20 carries since last season. He's only had 20 carries twice. You could count every game from last season coming into this season. He's only had 20 carries twice. We know Tony Pollard's been an effective running back for them, especially with the big play. But in this game, they're going to have to run that rock. And also, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, he's got 11 catches of at least 15 yards. That's tied with Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown for the most in the NFL. So we're dealing with two players in the NFC East that have 11 catches for at least 15 yards, okay? So CeeDee Lamb going to have to go off if he wants to see a victory against the Rams. This game is really hard for me to pick. I'm going to keep it real with you, man. Like, the Rams don't look like the Rams. The Cowboys looking like a different version of the Cowboys with a backup quarterback out there. I'm going to pick the Cowboys, man. I think the Cowboys win a close one. I'm going to go 24-17 Cowboys.
Listen, this game is super tough for me. This kind of goes back into the thing we talked about earlier in the show about how the schedule just doesn't necessarily ease up for teams who are supposed to be, have better records and are 2-2 like the Los Angeles Rams. This is a tough game for the Rams. I think whoever gets to the quarterback the most in this game is going to win. Matthew Stafford was getting sacks pretty bad in that matchup against San Francisco. And I think, Micah Parsons is definitely obviously a guy you're going to have to keep your eye out on here. But I think that the Rams, this is a big game for the Rams. I don't think the Rams are going to lose back-to-back. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams in a close game, 27-24.
27-24. I hope you're writing these down in that the green spiral notebook that you got from the coach from Waterboy. I got the Cowboys, you got the Rams. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping you're right because I want a little bit of lead in the NFC East, or maybe, if the Giants do take an L, we can stay around the same spot as them for sure. And the next game we got is the I had them a little bit out of order. That Eagles matchup's not on here, so until I get that one up, let's go with this one first. We'll go with the Thursday matchup first, and I'll get the other one uploaded.
I know you don't want to know scores, but I will tell you, Nyheim Hines has already gone to the locker room with a concussion.
Come on, man. I said the chat not to do it. You gonna do it? Come on, brother. What's going on, man? I didn't think the Beard was going to give me the spoiler alert. I just thought it might make things a little bit easier
for your read here.
Nah, I got you, man. I got you. And you know what? Before we get to the Thursday night one, let's just go with the Eagles. I got that one up there right there. Okay, so the Eagles going to be taking on the Cardinals. Again, shout out to the graphics department, man. It's a battle of the birds one time, man.
Angry Birds.
This one is, I like the proportion of the Cardinals bird better than I like the proportion of the Eagle. They tried to make it look a little too angry. But if I had to pick just off the strength of the birds, an eagle or a cardinal, I think that eagle's coming down from the sky, going to swoop up and get dinner. But in this matchup, we'll see if the Cardinals can put up a better fight. We'll see, man. The Eagles beat the Jaguars last week 29-21 after getting down 14 points in that one. The Cardinals beat the Panthers by 10. They beat them 26-16. Eagles got the number 2 offense in the NFL right now. This is a good revenge game, too. You got Zach Ertz revenge game. You got Hassan Reddick revenge game. The Cardinals have won 7 of 10 in the series going back to 2005. What's your thoughts on this one, man?
Listen, the Philadelphia Eagles are top 10 in every major statistical offensive and defensive category. I think that this is going to be a game where the Eagles rely more on Jalen Hurts' arm than I think they do the run game. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game by a final score of 27-17.
I like the score, man. I'm excited to see this matchup. It's two young quarterbacks that, should be in this league for a pretty long time here. I think the momentum is going to Jalen Hurts right now, obviously. He's doing a fantastic job running the ball and passing the ball this year. He's 205 yards rushing. That's second of all quarterbacks right now. I believe probably Lamar Jackson is first in that category. He leads quarterbacks as well with 4 rushing touchdowns. And that's third. His rushing touchdowns are third in the NFL amongst any player. Eagles rank first in the NFL with 16 sacks this season. So they're definitely going to put some pressure on Kyler Murray in this game. I can't pick against the Eagles. As much as I want to, I just cannot pick against the Eagles. And Hassan Reddick does lead the Eagles with 3.5 sacks on the year. This is a revenge game for him going back to face his former team and whatnot. I'm going to go Eagles in this one. Man, the Eagles, they've been in the second half, they haven't been playing as well. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go 31-29 Eagles.
Mm.
And last matchup, the one that's going on right now, I got a red zone alert. My man Melvin Gordon is in the red zone. So you know how that's looking, man. This matchup is going to be between the Colts and the Broncos one time. Indianapolis coming into this game 1-2-1. They are definitely a letdown this year. They're one of those teams that we were talking about, in the middle of the pack right now. Are they going to regress this year, or are they going to get back to their true form? They just missed the playoffs last year by 1 game. Carson Wentz with a horrible QBR in his last game with the Colts. I want to say the QBR was under 5. And the Indianapolis Colts ended up taking a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars and ended up taking their butts home. Denver's getting back to their kind of, I won't say true form, but the expectations that people thought coming into this season. They're at 2-2 right now. This one is on Amazon Prime. I love those Amazon Prime broadcasts, man, the way they do the stats and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward.
Starts too early, though.
Starts too early, 5 minutes too early, even though we'd be a little bit late right now. You know, I had to go outside, run the 40-yard dash and whatnot mid-show, you know, came back, not even a sweat broke, nothing. I'm just back in the mix doing what I do here, man. You know, I did think that Nyheim Hines was going to be a guy you should watch in this game, but unfortunately he's knocked out. I don't even know who the third running back is over there with the Colts.
Philip Lindsay, maybe.
Oh, maybe Philip Lindsay.
Because they brought him up from the practice squad.
Philip Lindsay had great games for the Broncos his rookie season. Revenge game. Yeah, maybe you can show him what's
revenge game.
Literally. He's been riding the bench for a lot of teams since he left the Broncos. I think he had a stint with the Texans for a little while there. Definitely wasn't getting a lot of carries in that one, man. Colts are they're gonna suffer from not having Jonathan Taylor in this game, and now not having Nyheim Hines. I gotta pick the Broncos in this game, man. And I got Melvin Gordon on my fantasy, so I'm hoping he's about to walk his way into the end zone right now. I'm gonna take the Broncos in a fairly low scoring matchup here. I'm gonna take the Broncos in this one, 20-16.
24-17, Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson throws for 2 touchdowns in this game and over 250 yards.
I remember Russell Wilson was coming into last week as the worst red zone quarterback in the NFL. He was 0%. That does not sound right. New coach,
doesn't sound
new
like
offense.
Russell Wilson either.
People asking if Russell Wilson fell off. I don't think he fell off.
No,
but I do think he was trying to run less, trying to be more of a pocket passer. And for him to be the kind of quarterback that we know that he can be, he got to use his legs. I think that's very important. So
let
taking
Russ
the Broncos.
cook.
Let Russ cook. Last time they said let Russ cook, he was looking jacked up, though. You remember that, right?
Yeah, he looked like he was flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Yeah, he looked like he was cooking bologna sandwiches. That's what he looked like he was cooking. But we're not going to hold y'all too much longer over here, man. Definitely appreciate everybody pulling up today, man, and rocking with us, man. This was a packed show, man. The live chat was booming pretty much the whole show, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with us the whole time, man. Y'all know what it is. Shout out Brett one time.
Big shout out to Brett for the $9.99 super chat. Says, hey, wanted to say much love to y'all. I watch your show a lot. I just work the night shift, so I live a crazy life. Anyways, go Giants. Can't believe I won. I will be mailing that to my pops. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. We're glad you're able to catch the show live. We appreciate you guys. If you're watching live, if you're watching later, if you're sharing the links, anything, this is a family, a community that we have built, and we have built it on the backbone of people like every one of you in the chat right now. This is Awthentik and The Beard family all the time, every time. So shout out to you guys in the chat, every platform, whether you're here for 5 minutes, the whole show, or you're watching later. Thank you guys very, very much.
Couldn't have said that any better, man. Salute to you, The Beard, on another great show, man. Salute to the family in the chat. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation in the building. All the representatives for the Commanders out here in the building. Shout out to the homie Paulie one time for showing up damn near every episode, holding you down, The Beard. You know what it is over here, man. On Awthentik and The Beard, man. Keep living those dreams, man. Keep raising that bar, man. The universe flows in Technicolor, as my man Combat Jack said. Rest in peace. Y'all know what it is. Enjoy y'all football. We will see y'all Sunday morning for the parlay. It's going to be a great one. The New York Giants are going to be playing in the middle of that show. So make sure you pull up if you are available. Until then, man, we will see y'all. Enjoy the night. Be good, y'all. Peace.
Peace.